Welcome to another episode of the Bloomers Podcast. My name is Amr. The Bloomers Podcast is a podcast about mental health, self-help, things in life that people don't normally talk about. So, we have a guest episode today, a very special guest episode. And if the guest could introduce himself, that would be fire.
Yeah. Simply put, I am Danial, and I am a fourth-year social work student at the University of Calgary. And I'm eager to get chatting about God knows what, but if you're with Amr, it's going to be amazing. That's all I know. So, yeah, please start us off.
Yeah, dude. So the first thing we always talk about is how we met. You want to tell it since you're the guest?
Yes. All right. It's pure coincidence.
It's a crazy story, dude.
Yeah. There was this nice Pashtun association. So like,
wait, define what Pashtun is.
Right. The like originally Afghani people, like the original indigenous Afghanis are known as Pashtuns, and now many of them reside still in Afghanistan, but we're from the tribes that reside in like northern Pakistan. And so there was a little barbecue happening for all of the Pashtun folks at Bonus Park in Calgary, this lovely park in Calgary. And several tables, just laid out. People are packed. There's lots of people there. I think, Amr, you came late, right?
Yeah, I was pretty late because I did not want to show up to this. Yeah. I was begging my parents. I have some days where I hate the world. This was one of them. This was one of the 10 days of the year I hated the world. I'm like, please, I don't want to go. I wanted to stay back. Ended up going, but yeah. So yeah, one of the tables, yeah.
And then he comes up and asks if he can sit next to me and my brother. When she does, and then we just get cracking, just talking about university and all loads of kind of stuff. And then people leave the table, and now it's just him and I. And we just, something is in the air where it's like, damn,
something's in those burgers we ate, bro. Those goddamn
burgers. where it was very easy to click and connect. And then we started talking about men's mental health and masculinity and Pashtun culture and mores and taboos in Pashtun culture, and it led to this. So a couple of months later, and now I'm here. Yeah.
That wasn't even that long ago. That was like, was it July? Mid-July?
Would have been July. Yeah.
End of July, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I hate to sound like I'm bragging, but me and Daniel both won. We applied for and won a scholarship at the university, which is like for contributions to mental health. And we were 2 of 4 recipients, and it was just crazy how we won that award. We're from the same tribe.
From the same tribe.
We our parents met just a couple an event before that or that event. And then we happened to both be at the exact same sitting at the exact same place. And I only figured out from my mom after who you were. Mm-hmm. And then I came back to the park to try and find you. Yeah. And I was just like, bro, dude, isn't this crazy? But yeah, pretty crazy story. And I have another friend I'm not gonna drop his name, but he's like, dude, you guys are just so similar. And we are very similar viewpoints and beliefs and stuff. MashaAllah. But yeah, so dude, how's life been? 4th year.
Life is good. 4th year, it's a little daunting because I'm at the stage of my life now that I never thought I'd get at, and now I'm here, and now I wish I could go back, right? Because graduating uni and you're leaving that fun campus environment, moving on to a new environment that you have no clue about. What does a graduate student do?
Right.
I know they do work of some kind, and they attend classes that seem so siloed, and I don't even know what graduate classes look like. And so, it's very daunting, but of course I'm excited to be able to sign the painting on something that took 4 years to paint, right? So
yeah, dude,
I'm excited for that.
And you've been very out there with it. You haven't been one of those people who just do the degree. You're doing stuff beyond the degree too.
Right.
Let's talk about some of those. Because
Yeah,
you got lots of things, bro. You got lots of like events. You got lots of things. Like this guy's too humble. Like this guy will not talk about his things. But let's talk about it.
I can mention one thing that I'm proud of. Because you know, like it's one thing to have done several things as an undergrad student in your university career, but it's another thing to be able to have to say that I did this one or two things and I am incredibly happy about it. So I don't have lots of things in my portfolio where I'm like, I would love to do that again. I have like one or two things where I feel that way, and one of them is actually up and coming. It's so I love cooking. I absolutely adore cooking. I got into it in the pandemic. I was one of those, you know, making bread at home babies as well.
Yeah.
You know, I was part of that whole niche crowd.
Humble roots, bro.
Humble roots. Yeah. And then it really exacerbated from there. And then I got into focaccia and I got into all kinds of cooking and baking. And of course, I've always had a passion for opening up and talking about men's mental health, masculinities, dismantling patriarchy, right? And how that's not only important for women in our societies, but it is critical for men. More so, it's critical for men to be the ones who are calling men out, usually in gender-based violence prevention, right? In dismantling toxic masculinities work. It's always women who are running it. It's always women.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because, you know, there should be men who are willing to get up there and do the work, you know? And there's not so many, unfortunately. And so
we need more, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I took a liking to that and I blended the two together. Cooking and this, talking about men's mental health. And in just under 2 months, I will be starting a cooking class with 14 young guys in their early 20s.
Inshallah.
In Calgary, inshallah. And they'll be learning how to cook, right? Work their way up from basics to fine dining, baking. They're going to be having little focaccia art competitions.
I'll be there, bro. I'm gonna be one of these people.
Yes, please.
Because I need to learn.
Good skill to have. And through that, they'll be learning how to communicate effectively, but also in ways that are maybe gentle or appropriate. Learning how to bond with each other, you know, learning how to truly work together as people who have never met before in intense environments. And in many ways, that's how you probably would describe a relationship, right? A marriage. Learning how to work with someone who you've never really met before in a very intensive manner. Like we're talking about emotions, heart, soul, spirit. This is 10 times as intense as a kitchen. And a kitchen is intense. And so that's the cooking classes project that I'm most proud of. That hasn't been done yet, but I get so excited thinking about it.
Even the planning and like just to me, because these are ideas that I've also covered on this channel, and like that I'm also very passionate about, and I call out people when they do stuff that's like stupid, you know, like men who do stuff that's stupid like that. But like, dude, what a good way to like combine the two like issues and put them together. An issue of like men not knowing how to cook, and you know, people in general not knowing how to cook, but specifically men, because in a normal sense they're out of the kitchen. And then for men to speak about mental health, and dude, that's my whole cause. That's your cause. Like, bro, it's beautiful, bro. Like that is, mashallah, so totally sick.
Yeah. No, thank you. And in many ways, I think the more that I thought about the project, and as I was developing the outline for it, it's a domestic violence prevention project. In many ways.
How so?
In more ways than not. You're getting men together and you're teaching them. You're talking, because there will be discussions at the end of each cooking class, roughly 20 to 30 minutes, where it's a round table talking circle about manhood, about masculinity, right?
That's fire.
about
I didn't know that
intimacy,
about
about relationships. So I have this all lined out about purpose in life. We're going to be talking about approaching marriage and stuff like that. You know, what are the appropriate ways, best ways, effective ways to act as a husband? I think a hard-hitting question that I was always thinking about. I loved being asked, and now I'd love to ask these guys eventually, is what is the type of husband that you think your wife would like to see? That she's like your dream woman right now. What is she imagining, right? The person you have a crush, who's the type of man that she's imagining, right? And so strive for that. So these are the types of discussions that we'll be having. And
it's a good dialogue to have.
Absolutely. You know, and to anticipate that many of these guys, it'll be their first time talking about very deep cuts in their album that they haven't shared yet with the world. And in many ways, that's helping prevent those deep cuts of the album become things that are hurtful or abusive in the future, because they've been suppressed so long that it's just a can of pop that they've been shaking without opening up to anyone. And you know, after 25, 30 years of not opening up to anyone about it, as soon as you open that can of pop, it just explodes, right? And it doesn't only get your jeans wet, it gets your wife's jeans wet, it gets everyone hurt, right? So yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's sick. But can you answer that question? What type of traits, or like, what would you want? Like, you know, the question, I don't know how you worded it so well. The traits that your dream woman would want in you.
Oh my God. Ooh.
Let's hear a few. I'm curious.
Gosh. You're asking good questions. Gentle. Okay. Yes, gentle. Funny, like very funny. Like I think she would want someone who is hilarious, like very willing to like embarrass themselves for her and like act like a child.
Gentle, funny, empathic,
like someone who can like just feel for other people.
Yeah.
Ooh, good listener. Like very, very active listener. It's just an array of things I need to work on effectively. It's just mass things I'm really bad at. Yeah, I think those things cover a lot.
You'll be doing that listening at the sessions, bro. Like, because you're going to be hosting it, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be taking part in discussions, right? But like, you're also going to be like hosting it in a way, right?
Yeah, you know, it's a two-way street doing this kind of work, like community work, gender-based violence prevention work, mental health-based work. It's always a two-way street. Sometimes you find that you actually learned a lot more about yourself than maybe the participants did, and that's fine, just the way it is. Right?
Yeah.
Or that the participants taught you something and you weren't there. You and your ego were walking into this project thinking that you're there to teach people, and you walked out being the person who learned the most, and that's beautiful, just the way that is. So yeah, I think I'm eager for that. I'm eager to be a part of conversations with these guys that make me feel a bit awkward.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's good to be in that space.
Absolutely.
Like it's even this right now, it is an uncomfortable space. Especially because you're here for the first time. Like it is a bit strange to like be talking about stuff like this to the public. But like I think especially in our culture, we have a lot of really good things, like you know, having like being kind to people, inviting them over, you know, bringing gifts. It's very it's very good in that way. But I think our culture, like especially our parents' generation, they're not the best with mental health. And I think that has motivated me a lot. I don't know about you, but like just looking at my parents' generation, my parents themselves, and like thinking like I could be, this is so stupid. It sounds so like I'm trying to sound above people, but like I could do so much better than they could with like this just the mental health part. Because you know, our parents changed they dropped everything in their previous life to come here. I don't think I can ever do that. That's like so tough and like crazy. But like on the mental side of things, bro, like I don't think they have effective ways of dealing with their problems, like dealing with the mental problems. Like for example, exercise isn't there in 95% of like brown parents, right? That's a huge problem. And like you said, like the keeping it all in, keeping everything in, suppressing it, and then like that can of pop explodes at like age 30, 40, 50. Like that is a real problem. And like I'm sure, obviously, like I don't know, I haven't seen it, but I'm very sure like domestic abuse is a very common thing because people just don't talk about it. Why would you talk about it? But like to strangers and stuff, but like dude, it's like a common thing. Like what do you think about like sort of like brown culture and like mental health and all that, men's mental health?
Yeah, I think not being open about that stuff, not being vulnerable, and being in a constant fight or flight mode worked for them in their time, or in their context. When you are combating colonization, right? Colonialism in so many different ways that I can't even imagine having to deal with. When you're combating hunger, right? When you're combating terrorism being very prevalent in that region, you know, Afghanistan and Pakistan, the border. So there was not enough parking space in their lives to be able to talk about these things, let alone think about it. But as immigrants, when they come here, you have to make that parking space.
Yeah.
You have to make it happen. Otherwise, you're living in a society where you're not as threatened as you were back in the East, right? I say not as threatened, it's relative. But you're still living like you're being threatened all the time. And you're treating your kids like they really have to get it, right? Like they're going to be threatened all the time. And so there's a level of I think if brown parents are able to learn like the value and the beauty in our generation, when we become parents, the value and the beauty of driving a little bit slower with your kids, right? Of moving with a little bit more ease and gentleness and empathy and conversation, especially, right?
Yeah.
That there is so much beauty in that. And if you're worried about your kid not becoming an adult quick enough or mature quick enough, trust that when you double down on talking with them and being gentle with them, you will see that expedite. The maturity will just expedite, right? All that good stuff will just expedite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for me and my mom, we're exactly like that, bro. Like me and my mom are very tight. She's watching right now, because she watches every video. But and I can say that is true. That is very true in my personal experience.
Yeah.
And like when our generation is pretty messed up. Like Gen Z is pretty messed up. But like we're gonna fix a lot of the problems that like, and I actually agree, bro. Like I never thought about it like that. Like all the stuff that they were battling back home, and then like. Now all of that is like kind of space now, and it's not there, but now they have like to worry about money and like getting jobs. I'm talking about like back when they first moved, because now if we're all like, they're all financially doing good, but like, yeah, there wasn't enough like, I guess, time to focus on those problems. But yeah, dude, no, that's freaking amazing. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is like, so me and Daniel met last week or 2 weeks ago, just talking and stuff. And then, so we have this thing at school. It's this really childish, stupid thing called U of C Confessions, okay? And this is very traumatic for Daniel, but he's willing to talk about it. So basically this account is an Instagram account, and people anonymously submit like things about people and like events and like just the school in general, classes. And so I knew about that there was a Danial on this account. I remember all my second year there was this person, Danial from GoodEarth, that was always being talked about, but I never knew it was this dude. So we were talking about like school and talking about work, and then eventually he told me he worked at GoodEarth, and in my head it clicked. I was like, a Danial, GoodEarth, and that's Brown was all described on the account, and then yeah. So this dude didn't freaking brag to me and say it, but I figured it out, which is pretty sick. But you have some really good stuff to say about that. So can you tell the story about how it happened and how it like mentally impacted you? Because when we talked about it, dude, that was one of the best, craziest things I've ever heard, bro.
I think, I don't know, I'm like frightened of appearing even slightly pretentious. So I won't hone in too much on like the period of me working at this cafe on campus, but I'll talk about overcoming it. So with it, it came lots of being the fact that, like, if I can be perfectly honest with myself, being a man who was in his early 20s working on campus where mostly people are older, right? Like much older.
Like the employees that work is what he's saying.
Yeah. It can divert some attention if, oh my God, the person who's working behind that cafe looks like a student. That's interesting. It can divert some attention, and I think that's purely what it was. Simply that I have to kill my own ego as much as I can, but nevertheless, it brought about attention, and with that attention came some compliments, maybe some external validation. I'm having a really hard time speaking about this confidently, with conviction.
Just know that he's kind of traumatized by this time, but
no. I just don't want to seem narcissistic. So, but I
you
think
don't,
I'm
bro.
doing okay.
Like I really want to. I just want you to tell this story because when you told me it was just so good, bro.
Well, fast forward. Attention and external validation from people, and then me becoming this extremely extroverted guy. After I left, there's this sense of like attention withdrawal, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
Right. And feeding the ego withdrawal, and so I was sort of stale because I thought to myself, well, no, I wake up on a Monday morning and I'm not at the cafe. I'm not on campus. I'm not talking with people or hanging out with random people who just know me because they're a customer or something. And so it was off-putting mentally for a long time, a very long time. And essentially, it took a while to overcome that, this feeling that I'm always supposed to be hanging out with someone. I'm always supposed to be given someone's attention, right? I'm always supposed to be given someone else's validation of me, or I'm always supposed to be in environments surrounded by people where my self-esteem is constantly protected at the expense of myself after the fact, right? When it's no longer protected. And so when it was no longer protected, and it's just a guy in his bedroom staring up at the ceiling at 1 a.m. at night thinking, oh my God, who are my friends again? Like, who are the guys who are going to stick with me? What's their names again? That was really something. Over the course of like 6, 7, 8 months, just trying to overcome this and realize that there is a simpler life out there, right? It's me, a pair of straight fit jeans, hiking boots, and this sense of it's okay to not constantly be having attention or validation or having your self-esteem protected or having your ego boosted. It's okay, So I eventually moved on and feel immense, and this is why I speak with very little conviction or confidence about this topic, because I still feel so like this immense guilt and regret, and mostly guilt.
About what?
About being that guy, playing into the character, right? Like playing into the character.
Because they were kind of like fueling it, but you were also going along with it.
I was going along with it. I was taken on to a stage that I didn't have props for, or I didn't even sign up with, and I said, "Well, I love the fact there's strobe lights and 1,000 people watching. I'll dance, right? Well, I don't know how to, but I'll dance if you like it." And so I didn't sign up myself, but the universe signed me up for a game that I didn't think I was going to play, and I loved every second of it. You know, because who wins?
Yeah,
I mean,
I was about to say,
yeah.
like I would have been the exact same way, bro. Like that I don't blame you at all, and you shouldn't feel guilty.
No,
about
you
it, bro.
shouldn't. You know you shouldn't. And
It was kind of outside of your control, like receiving it.
Maybe,
just because you're a good-looking dude at the freaking coffee shop where there's a lot of girls, you know. Because he's being too humble. He's like, because like, dude, you like if you don't know, if you haven't seen this confessions page, search it up. UFC Confessions. I think they rebranded, but like every single Friday for both the fall and winter semesters, Danial from GoodEarth. And my whole life, I was wondering, who is this dude? I thought it was the ICT GoodEarth my whole life, like when I was imagining it, because that's where like there's way more traffic there than TFDL.
That's the busy one. Yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah,
like, dude, so like in that withdrawal. Wait, sorry, I cut you off.
No. I was just gonna say, like people ask me, yeah, you must have hated it. No, I loved it. Like I loved it. Like who win once again as a young adult who hasn't really mapped out who he is, his feelings, what he's gone through, what he's going through, what he's about to go through in the future, right? Like who wouldn't love that? I loved it so much, and being a man who I think very noticeably has low self-esteem, I really loved it. Like that was amazing. And then people ask me, well, aren't you happy you're an introverted person now? And I'm like, no, I still have this need to or not so much need, but this desire to have attention and validation. That'll never go away, but
we all do, bro.
We all do. But what you can stave off is acting upon it. And the next time that people are roping you into this playhouse, have the willpower to say, no, this is maybe not the healthiest thing for me, right? That's what I can work towards. Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking about right now, bro? I'm thinking about like, because like a lot, there's this whole like concept of like sliding into someone's DM, right? And like the whole concept of like men approaching women in like to date and stuff, right? And the way I'm thinking about it now is I'm kind of understanding the psychology of a really attractive girl who's approached by a lot of guys through what you're saying, because a lot of them, and I hate to sound like Andrew Tate right now, but a lot of them like they take advantage of that attention. And I'm obviously not generalizing. I'm saying a very small amount, like I'm talking about the top like 5% of like consensus attractiveness is like that. They play into it and they like take advantage of it, and they're not like the people who like stay in relationships or date. So I'm kind of understanding now I'm getting a lot of perspective from this story. And it's
I think you know what, when you mentioned that analogy there, it makes me think about the privilege of a man a lot, that in my case, regardless of what my decision was, I'm safe and secure.
Yeah.
In the woman's case, if she doesn't play into it, she might not be safe, right?
Like, what do you mean by that?
Like if a man is hitting on a woman, right, and if she doesn't give in to him, that man might.
Yeah, it might be like continued harassment.
Yeah,
and like
continued harassment, or well, you're an ugly B word anyways, right?
Yeah.
And so, but if she does play into it, maybe the man will be more gentle. But at the same time, if she does play into it, who knows what might happen down the road, right?
Yeah.
And so, in any case, I like your analogy, but it's always good to establish that. I think.
Yeah, think about the other side. Yeah.
The social position of a man carrying heteronormativity, and then a woman who is just trying to stay safe and not get hurt. So
Yeah.
so yeah, it makes me think about that.
And I think a lot of dudes our age, bro, they don't have like, because your degree is social work. I've taken a lot of sociology classes, so I can kind of like, I can agree and like understand where you're coming from. A lot of dudes, bro, our age, and I'm in a lot of conversations, man. Like I know people our age, I know dudes our age. When they hear stuff like this, and when they hear me say it too, they're like, dude, why are you being so like left? What do you call it? Like why are you so on the far left? Why are you sounding so woke? I always get that comment, bro, and it really pisses me off. Cause like it's not even about that, bro. It's genuinely about like the fact that like people like me and you, bro, we can realize that like men can be so like toxic and bad sometimes, but it's like it's this other group of like young men who are like us, but not like us in this one way about thinking about like women and like the society, who just like they will bash you and just call you like, oh, you're some far left woke, right, whatever.
Yeah.
I really that pisses me off, man. Like
no, I hear you. I think people forget that people who come from I wasn't speaking to the mic. I think people forget that people who come from our viewpoints, we're not pushing the idea of dismantling masculinity. We're dismantling the toxic elements of it. Masculinity is beautiful in a way, right? The desire to protect your family, to be the breadwinner. I mean, these are all beautiful things that you should strive towards if that's what you desire. Please do. But it's the toxic elements of it that sort of override the nice elements of it, right?
Especially in group settings, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you have to be like aggressive or like don't cry, don't show emotions, always like be mean towards women. Those are just some examples that I always come to mind.
Oh, absolutely.
And the toxic part.
Absolutely. The way that heteronormativity and masculinity has pushed us to talk about women and literally talk about them is disgusting, man. It's disgusting.
Like what do you mean like talk about them? Like,
yeah, like I had a friend, not a friend, but someone, a mutual friend, someone I know who was talking to me. Oh, he said I just started dating this girl. Yeah. And by the way, this guy's 27, 28, he's in his late 20s. And I said, girl. I just thought about it for a second. And I'm like, what do we say when we're referring to a male who's over the age of 18? We don't say boy, we say man, right? For a woman who's over the age of 18, we still say girl. Yeah. It's interesting, right? So I told him, like, is she like under 8? Like, a girl? And he goes, no, a woman. I'm like, right, yeah. There we go. That's probably fair. So like the way that guys talk about women, it says a lot, and it this thing gets passed down to every guy. It gets passed down to your children as well, your sons. It's the language that lots of men use to describe women. It's it starts there in more ways than not. Yeah.
Well, wouldn't you say there's a difference between like a woman and a girl and like a man and a boy? Like, because some people would view us as boys despite being above 18, but we're not like men, as in like not like the literal what a man means, like whatever that means, like being male or whatever, having certain traits. But like, because there's some, I know there's like some 50-year-old out there. There's a 50-year-old out there who thinks that we are boys, like me and you. There's a 50-year-old out there who thinks that we are men. Like where do you draw that line of like the difference in like girls and women?
I think it's intuitive. Right? So like as guys who are in their early 20s, if there's another woman who's also like evidently our age, it's probably more respectful to just call her a woman.
Instead of saying girl,
right?
Yeah. But back to GoodEarth, because we went on a little fun tangent there.
Yes, we did.
But dude, do you still get comments like from girls and stuff? Like, I'm not talking about like Instagram or anything.
No.
I mean, like,
because
Do people know who you are?
I don't know.
Like,
I
know
hope
who
not.
you were. My bad.
Right. No, I don't think so. No, because in my perspective, it wasn't about like me and my looks or anything of that sort. It was simply because I was just a younger looking guy who was probably a student working at a cafe. And so when I'm not in the cafe setting, obviously I'm just like any other guy. It was all just social position. I think, yeah.
So then you
Yeah.
didn't. So then the way you described it. So all your friends were based off of like your job. Like, did you have real friends like from before? Or
I
people who,
sure
like,
did, and they were trying to keep me in check, and I told them, no, don't worry, nothing's happening. Nothing's going on. Like I'm just, I'm just working. I'm just making that money. You know what I mean? Working at the cafe, being a barista. But they knew that I was this ego like addicted freak, and but it's interesting. It's like they let me play into it. They would give me advice every now and then, like Danny, cool it, you know. But they let me play into it, maybe knowing that I would come back around. And I've come back around now, and I'm like, oh my God, you guys were right when you guys said don't. So yeah.
Because I like totally get it, bro. Because like as guys or dudes, men, whatever you want to call it, most of us don't get that type of attention, and it's male loneliness especially is a real thing, and you were in a position where like that would pretty much be impossible, because you would have a lot of like
Right.
I guess options or people to like choose from. I hate that way I say that, but like there was like if you wanted to genuinely like have a girlfriend or you would have like, because there was like I don't think people who are listening might not understand like the hundreds of people, like you can go back on this Instagram account, go to 2022 2023, and you can legitimately see like, and you just keep downplaying it, which I get, because I also wouldn't want my ego to be in the stars, but like there were a lot of people, man, and like you were like an urban legend on campus.
An urban legend.
Because like no one knew who you were, and I remember talking about it in second year with some of my friends. It's like, oh, did you see that, like that guy who appears every week, like GoodEarth, Danial, and no one knew who, like, or at least people that I talked to didn't know who you were. But it's pretty like it's absolutely crazy to me that like, especially because I saw this person on like online all the time, and then now I'm sitting in the same room as them. Like it's literally like do you know the phantom, like whatever, like the person who like used to poop on the stairs at school?
Oh, some of my older buddies who used to be like before us.
Yeah,
they would tell me about that. Yeah,
like you're like one of those people, bro. You're one of the urban legends.
I think we both carry the same level of ego. Actually, I think we were more similar in ways than you would think. Yeah.
God damn. Okay. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Back to overcoming the traumatic experience of working at GoodEarth on campus. Can you speak on that?
Okay, so in trying to work out this whole attention withdrawal, and having to disassociate myself from that guy who I thought I was, and realize who I really am, humble myself, of course. That's where I came to, and I know it sounds so corny, spirituality.
Wait, what? What'd you say?
I know it sounds so corny, but it's like, and truthfully,
Okay.
spirituality played like faith, right? Praying, Islam,
Yeah,
stuff like that. It took care of everything for me. Really? Yeah, it took care of everything for me. I remember going for Umrah to Saudi Arabia and stuff like that. And it just, really, I think we forget that next to mental wellness and physical wellness, there's a third pillar of the building, and it's your spiritual wellness. And if you are not taking care of that, let alone acknowledging it, well, that's a pillar that's broken, and the building will collapse even if there's one crack in a pillar. So, and that's what really happened with me in many ways as well. So yeah, I got into the whole groove of lighting a candle at 10:30 p.m. at night, locking the door of my bedroom, and just praying, and just sitting on the prayer mat. After I'm done praying, and I think there was a few times where I actually laid down and I just slept on the prayer mat that night.
Oh, that's such a fun thing to do.
It's such a great thing. It's like the best sleep you'll ever get.
Yeah.
And it felt good. Now, what's interesting is that there's no therapist involved, right? There's no medication involved. I wasn't openly I wasn't writing in a journal or creating some sort of chart, pros and cons, and this is what I've been through, this is where I'd like to be, right? There wasn't a poster on the wall, a vision board. I was just more in tune with my spiritual self.
Yeah, it was all in your head. It's all intangible, yeah.
It's all intangible, and that's something I learned, that lots of these problems are just these floating pieces of glitter in the air, and you try to fight them off, and that doesn't do much for you. But the more in tune you become with your spiritual self, the more you realize they're not these monsters are not as scary as you think they are. Matter of fact, you don't even have to put in as much effort as you think into trying to resolve these things. You just have to take all that energy from constantly being stressed about the effort and what you've gone through and what you've done and what you've said and what you've been. Take all of that energy into just trusting God and the universe and faith, trusting your faith just for a few minutes, and see where that'll take you. And it takes you very far, much further than putting that effort into constantly being anxious about it.
Yeah, dude. No, I never knew that it was Islam that brought you back like that. But that's really good. Because, like, I don't know. It's very, I guess it's very tempting for men, especially when you receive a lot of female attention. I have never on that level, and barely in my entire life. But just, that's like, you can get to a dangerous place. And it's good you, mashallah, didn't, like, fall down that hole of, like, and again, I don't want to, like, sound like I'm generalizing people, but, like, the top 5% of men who just, like, they get all this attention from women and then they take advantage of it and they fall down that downward spiral. It's good you quit and you were self-aware, and then you brought your ego down from the clouds. But dude, what an interesting story. Like seriously, bro, I have never, like, met anyone who has had such a insane experience like that. And then especially being brown, it's like, because we get the least amount of, like, play, bro. We got the least amount of, like I think out of everybody in the world, brown people are, like, the people that, like, the least amount of people are attracted to. At least, I don't know. That's might not be a fact, but that's just, like, what I see and, like, what I hear. But another thing that's really interesting about you, bro, is quitting, like, since social media, Instagram.
Yeah.
Can you speak on that? Because that's, like, that is something that, I have never been, I wanted to quit it at one point, but then I realized that, like, for me, it was more about balance and keeping it off my phone, because I still have to run the podcast and, like, just keeping things there, but just keeping it off my phone. But can you talk about, like, quitting and everything?
Okay, so that kind of came in part with being more in tune with my spiritual self and humbling myself.
Okay.
I think social media is a great place to go when you want to get something across very quickly, and that thing that you want to get across very quickly is you, right? And the picture of your face or your body, right? Or the new clothes you got.
Yeah.
So it's very ego feeding environment, and I don't know what it was really, but becoming more in tune with my faith, my spirituality, I felt this bad taste in my mouth every time I saw the little Instagram icon or the Snapchat icon on my phone. And so I just had to delete it. Lots of these things weren't actually thought. Like my journey of trying to become someone a bit more humble and destroy that ego, not a lot of it was thought through. Not a lot of it was like intensively prepared and written out, planned out, strategized. It was simply this. Anything that left a bad taste in my mouth, I would remove, right? So if I'm online shopping for clothes and it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and it's because I'm thinking to myself, why are you really buying it? Is it because you like it, or is it because you're trying to impress someone or some people?
Yeah.
Leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and then I don't buy it. And I've even found myself returning clothes. Like just returning tons of clothes, even some that I actually needed, because I'm like, no, you can't be that guy anymore. So anything that has to do with that guy, that GoodEarth barista guy, I can't. So I have to remove it.
Yeah, you can't associate with it anymore.
If I used to have my eggs sunny side up back in those days, I can't have them sunny side up anymore.
Is that real?
No, that's
is that hyperbole?
No, that's hyperbolic. But I think, considering how emotionally dramatic I am, that could be real. That there could be. You know what? If that was the case, I think I would do that. I think I would stop having eggs. Yeah.
Dude, eggs are so good, bro.
Yeah.
Well, considering what you just ate, you freaking ate nothing.
Right.
Freaking ate like little. I could fit your meal in the palm of my hands, bro. Oh my god, I'm so pissed off about that still. I just expose you in front of everybody, bro. Oh my god, no, but dude, being off not only Instagram but Snapchat and TikTok. I despise TikTok. I don't open it. I have it, but I don't have the urge to use it. I have the urge to use Snapchat because of like making Snapchat memories is really fun for me. But dude, you're not gonna have like, do you understand, bro? You're not gonna have, because like my sister's in she's like she really knows about like dementia and all these things, Alzheimer's, all this crap. And like apparently maybe in 50 years we'll come back to this and we'll know. But TikTok and Snapchat and all the social medias is going to accelerate the like onset of all these diseases like dementia and Alzheimer's.
Really.
Yeah. Don't freaking quote me on that because I've only heard this from word of mouth, but it makes sense because of the like stimulation, the quick attention, like the short attention spans, the constant need for overstimulation and like going from this to this to this all within like 15 seconds, you know?
Yeah. Wow.
So you are gonna be the like number one. Like, you're gonna be the only dude with memories.
Oh no, I will have other things in place. I will have other things in place.
Oh my god. No, but it's something that I think making those changes like requires a lot of courage and like honesty with yourself. I think that's so dope. And
yeah. You know, I'm still struggling with it. I think I still...
How?
Like, I still look at myself as that guy, and there's so... And I think to myself, you are still that guy. You need to humble yourself. And maybe that's fine, right? Maybe there's a way to enjoy my early 20s and beat myself up with guilt and regret in the same cup. Maybe there's a way to do it. Friends tell me that I shouldn't feel as much guilt and I shouldn't stop myself from having fun. But for me, I feel like there's too much work, like too much work that still needs to be done. And so I don't know. I'll give it a year or two and I'll see. Maybe I will go back to having my egg sunny side up.
So what changes will you be making or have you been working on lately
Oh yeah.
to not be that guy?
Right. Once again, nothing was strategized. So even a question like that, I'm never prepared to answer. The only answer I could, perfectly honestly give you is praying more, being even more in touch with my spiritual side than yesterday and the day before.
Yeah, because that's what got you out of it, bro.
That's what got me out of it. So, and if it, stick with it, I suppose. And I can tell you that a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, my answer to that same question will be being a bit more in touch with my spiritual side, my faith-based side of who I am, which of course is all who I am now. Yeah, that's my answer to just about everything these days. It's being more in touch with your spiritual side.
Yeah. Okay, one last thing I want to ask you. Can you tell me where you think you'll be in 10 years?
Great question.
On September, what is it, 21st, 2034. Where will you be? What will you be doing? What will your life look like? Just try to give a little prediction. So we can look back on this in 10 years.
I think more research, maybe. I don't know. I feel like all I do is work. I think honestly, I don't think it's gonna be very interesting 10 years from now.
No, where will you be living?
11 years, but 10 years, no.
Will you have a family? Will you really be living somewhere?
Oh my God. Yeah. I don't know. I was answering that question like an idiot. No, yes.
A
family, please. Yes, I would love to be married, have a family.
Where do you want to be living?
Amsterdam.
Really?
Amsterdam. Yeah.
Hell yeah, bro.
Amsterdam.
That's sick.
Would be great. That would be fantastic. And it's just a family of people who love social work and psychology and stuff like that. That'd be great. Yeah, that's the dream. So inshallah, that's where I am in 10 years from now.
And what one? I know I said that was the final question, but one more.
Please.
What trait do you want to be your strongest at that point?
Humility.
Really? Oh, okay. So
Humility.
you're completely removed from your cafe self.
Yes, I want to be.
Humility.
I hope to be. Humility.
Inshallah.
Matter of fact, it's the thing that I find the most attractive in other people. By far.
Really?
By far.
Wow.
Humility.
That's a unique one, bro.
Love that so much. Yeah. Massively so. All right.
Yeah. No. Okay. Well, that was the episode. So any last final words?
Oh my God. I guess if you can and if you're willing, if you're interested, please consider getting in touch with your spiritual side. You have it in you, even if you don't think you do. You have a spirit.
Yeah,
right?
I think every human does.
There's I think it'll surprise you how much good it does for you, how much holistic good that it does for you. So give it a shot.
Cool. Okay. Well, that was the episode. Thank you so much for listening or watching. Yeah, drop a like on the video. I will leave Daniel's, he doesn't have social media, but information down below in the description. So yeah, thanks for watching and see ya.
Bye.
Bye.